Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
So, a Canadian whistleblower has just exposed this tick crisis. Take a listen.
This forum post, and I'm going to put it directly on the screen, and I'm going to read it word for word. It says this, quote, I work for a private charter company in Ontario, Canada. The company handles booking and chartering flights across Ontario mainly. We are paid to spread ticks by air. It happens twice a year, early spring and early fall. This year, we've been hired to do it earlier. The company receives the ticks in boxes. Each box contains millions of ticks. The aircraft used are generally single or dual prop aircraft, single pilot, and one other passenger that handles the dispersal. It pays a lot, and I mean a lot. Generally, the ticks are dispersed in several specific regions in Ontario, and it's always the same regions each and every year, thus far. Last spring, the ticks dispersed were mostly American dog ticks. This year, they are all deer ticks, supposedly specifically bred to withstand cold temperatures. End quote. So that post was from March 16th, 2 weeks before Snopes said that this story originated. All right, and it's pretty interesting. Here we have a whistleblower saying that they are paid to disperse ticks across Canada. Now, this sounds eerily familiar to what we're hearing about these boxes of ticks that are being found.
All right, so we have no way of verifying if this individual who posted this is who they claim to be and if they're telling the truth. With that being said, I'd be a lot less likely to believe it if it were a post that came about within the past week or so. But when you look at the timeline, this post was made on March 16th. And then later, not very much later, maybe a week or so, at the end of March, that's whenever we started getting reports of farmers finding boxes of ticks all over their property. And then by April, those stories were getting so out of control that Snopes and other so-called fact-checking websites had to actually address it. And it wasn't actually until late April that we started hearing reports of helicopters being the source of where these boxes of ticks are coming from. So it kind of looks like only one of two things could be going on here. Either this individual is who they claim to be and they really are doing what they're claiming they're being paid to do, or all of this conspiracy and the rumors and all of the stories that we've been hearing about boxes of ticks being found everywhere all originated from this post. And for that to be what's going on just wouldn't make any sense. So personally, even though there's not really any way at this point to verify anything, I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward this being legit. What do you all think?
So now apparently if you try to make a public post on your own Facebook about the water in your own local community and how disgusting it is, you might just get arrested. Check it out.
Ever expect something like that Facebook post could get you arrested?
Not at all.
A Facebook post made by Jennifer Combs, a wife, mother, and citizen journalist, led to her arrest by Trinidad Police Department on May 8th.
Did you have to spend the night in jail?
I did.
What was that like?
Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying.
And you've never even had a speeding ticket?
I have not ever had a speeding ticket. It was one of the most probably humiliating things I've ever went through in my entire life. It was very, very bad.
So what was the Facebook post about? The city's water supply.
The best way I could describe it is it looks like the Trinity River is flowing from their water taps.
The post from her page Southern Bell Watch reads, in part, we have received reports that some citizens have been hospitalized due to bacteria in the water. This is a serious public health concern that deserves immediate attention. If your water looks discolored, contains sediment, has a strong odor, or you have experienced related health issues, please send us a message. We are gathering information and reporting findings to the state.
The police chief had screenshotted it and posted it on the Trinidad Police Department page.
The April 6th post by Trinidad Police calls what Combs wrote false information that creates fear, panic, or unnecessary emergency response within a community, eventually charging Combs with felony false alarm or report.
I feel like this is an extreme stretch.
So here inside Trinidad City Hall, the water looks clean, but some say it's a fluid situation depending on where you're at and when.
This is the bathtub.
How would you describe the city's water situation right now?
The city's water situation is a struggle, without question.
Trinidad Mayor Dennis Hawes does not dispute that they have water issues.
A lot of this stuff is original pipes that were put in here in Trinidad in the 50s probably. We have to get to a position where we can fix that infrastructure, and it's very expensive, as I'm sure you can imagine.
On Wednesday, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality confirmed to Fox 4 that it received a complaint regarding the water quality and an investigation is ongoing. It's unclear whether anyone has gotten sick from the water.
I've seen some Facebook posts where people have said they have gotten sick.
In a post on May 10th, Trinidad Police Chief Charles Gregory doubled down on his decision to arrest Combs.
It is increasingly feeling as if it is us against them. It's as if suddenly anyone who is in a position where they were elected into that position, and that position is designed to serve the public, they now see themselves as an enemy of the public. Anyone who's on their side of the fence, they're going to run guard for. I think the most ridiculous part about this, besides the fact that it shouldn't have happened, why is this police officer targeting this woman? In what way is this officer going to be personally affected by this woman drawing attention to an issue that has nothing to do with him? Clearly, the people in this area are not being served by those who have been elected to serve them. There are obvious signs of corruption. Clearly, somewhere, someone is cutting corners and doing things they're not supposed to be doing, and it's having a major negative impact on the town's water supply. And that water didn't look to me like it was being pumped directly out of the river. It looked like it was being pumped out of someone's septic tank. Does this guy really think that if they just arrest this one lady, people will stop talking about this and just go about their business? People need water for literal survival. I'd put money on it that that cop is getting paid by somebody. There's a reason he's taking this so personally. That guy needs to be fired and investigated, and he needs to be charged for abuse of power.
We are hooked. Power companies are using eminent domain to steal people's homes for AI data centers. I just read the advice from a top eminent domain lawyer's meeting in Georgia he had with landowners to try to help them, and this is what he said. First, he broke it down into 3 stages of the process. Stage 1 is surveying, stage 2 is the offer, and stage 3 is condemnation if you don't take the deal. Most people already get tripped up at step 1. If you tell the power company, no, you can't come on my land and survey my property, they're gonna go get an injunction from the judge, come back with a judge's order, and boom, now they can survey your land. The lawyer said, if you want to pick that fight, be my guest, but the law is very clear that if the power companies want to come on your land, they're going to do it. Okay, and then comes the right-of-way agents. This is where it gets so shady. The lawyer said these agents are trained to scare you and to tell you things like, if you go to court, you're going to get nothing. You're going to get less, just take our offer. They are literally trained to lie to you. But here's what the lawyer said. They don't get to decide on the price. Only a jury does. That's your only leverage. The only fairness in this entire rigged process is a jury of your peers setting the final number. So the lawyer's bottom line is there's nothing you can do to stop them from taking your land. The law is written for the billion-dollar utility companies and the data centers they serve. Not for you. Your only move is to cut your losses, refuse the first offer, and fight for every dollar a jury will give you. So your rights are a illusion, and we are cooked.
This may be true. However, the reason I wanted to put this in here was to give everyone a heads up. There are many, many people right now who are dealing with this exact situation. And the odds are pretty high that there's someone watching this video right now who's going to be dealing with this situation within the next year or so. And I'm no lawyer. I'm not giving out legal advice. I'm just trying to make sure that everyone is as informed as they can be. After verifying that this is in fact how things play out here in Kentucky, if I were to find myself in that exact situation, being armed with this information, I believe the option I would take would be getting awarded a high dollar amount from a jury of my peers. This is kind of a unique situation if you think about it. Most people who end up in court in front of a jury of their peers having this settlement determined by them, most of those peers are going to either be living in the area and be dealing with the exact same situation themselves, or they're going to have a family member or a close family friend who's also dealing with this exact situation. And this is becoming such a major issue that Everyone is constantly hearing stories about people having their homes taken from them against their will. People are starting to freak out over this. So from what I'm seeing, what's likely to eventually happen is a jury is going to award a ludicrous amount of money to someone who does not want to lose their home, and it's going to set a precedent. And then every jury is going to start awarding several $1 million on a home that should have been $300,000. And I'm sure that there are limitations as to what that jury can decide as a rewardable amount. But what if every jury just starts going max benefit? If you want to steal these people's home, you have to give them the absolute largest amount that we can legally require you to pay. I bet that would slow down the production of these data centers a bit.
The math is officially showing its face now. We've talked about the patterns, but this is getting too far. I'm auditing the 2027 car mandate, and it's clear they are taking over the final blueprint of our mobility right under our noses. Watch how the kill switch actually works.
AI technology may make it easier for your car to understand your mood and maybe even your health when you're behind the wheel. Auto and tech companies showed off these monitoring tools at this year's Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas.
I do not agree
to that. They use cameras and sensors in the vehicle's cabin to take the person's vitals and even determine if the driver is buckled up, if the driver's eating while driving, or even angry. It's all in response to new regulations requiring automakers to include technology to detect distracted and drowsy drivers. Privacy advocates have expressed concerns
Why would
about
we
how
need
much
this? You don't have to go take a driver's test anymore because the car basically does it for you. You have infrared cameras tracking your pupils and AI deciding if you're fit to drive your own property. It's showing now. The system doesn't want you in control. It wants a digital co-pilot so it can watch your every move. Is this safety or is it a total takeover? Because in my opinion, this is a total takeover. Are you sticking with the older cars or letting the system drive? This is crazy.
How are you even going to go take a driver's test? Isn't the car that you're taking the test in just going to determine that you don't know what you're doing and pull you over? Or it may scan your face and determine that you don't have a valid license so you can't operate the vehicle? What are you going to do in situations where you have identical twins, where one of them's a good law-abiding citizen and the other one is a absolute nut job? Just think about all of the issues that we're going to have whenever they fully roll this system out. And for several years before they're able to get all these older vehicles off the road, you're going to have half the population feeling like they're being spied on when the other half of the population isn't. And that's not even taking into account the fact that nobody wants this. So no one is going to want to go buy one of these cars. You'll still have some ignorant people out there that have to have the newest thing, and so they're going to go get it, whatever it is, no matter what. But the auto industry is already really suffering right now. They're trying so hard to move new vehicles. You can go get a new Ram truck today, 36 months, 0% financing. They can't even give these vehicles away. And that's just because they cost so much. The value isn't there anymore. I can't believe that these auto manufacturers aren't losing their absolute minds. Just imagine that you have an $80,000 vehicle you have to sell, and that vehicle is designed to spy on you and make your life worse. How do you market that? How can you entice someone to spend $1,000 a month on a vehicle that's going to make their life significantly more complicated? The auto industry is about to completely collapse. I think this is going to be one of the biggest mistakes they've ever put into law.
For the past 30 days, Colorado has been photographing every speeder on I-25 and mailing warnings instead of fines. That ends tonight, and most people who got one of those warnings still don't know that slowing down for the camera does nothing. Because these cameras don't catch a moment, they calculate an average speed over a distance. Two cameras, miles apart. The first timestamps you going in, the second timestamps you coming out. If your average is more than 10 miles per hour over the limit, a $75 fine gets mailed to whoever owns the car. No points, no pullover. Colorado ran this exact same system on Highway 119 between Boulder and Longmont. In 5 months of warnings, 34,000 drivers got letters. Speeding dropped 80%, and CDOT calculated that those had been fines. The state would have collected $2.5 million. That was the pilot. Tomorrow is I-25, so the question is, after tomorrow, are you changing how you drive on I-25, or just how you drive between mile marker 244 and 250?
I'm sure before long, every interstate you get on, you're going to have to deal with this. And before long, this system will be obsolete anyway because your car will be telling on you itself. And I'm not personally worried about getting fined or receiving a ticket in the mail because I was speeding on the interstate and wasn't aware that they had these camera systems up. I'm a big believer in cruise control. Whatever the speed limit is, I set my cruise control at that. and get in the slow lane and just stay there. But that's just how I drive. I'm never really in a big hurry to get anywhere. I'll get there when I get there. But we keep hearing that this stuff is coming. Apparently there's already states that are rolling out trials and testing it out. It's just a matter of time before we see it implemented nationally.
I have been here for 4 years now. And when I first moved in, we had a fob system for locks, right? Little gray disc that you attach to your keychain, and you just slap it up against the little magnetic-y thing, and it unlocks the main door, your door, all those things. About a year and a half to 2 years ago, we all get an email from our apartment complex that they are doing away with the fob system, and instead we are going to be on a phone app lock system. Okay. So fobs are going away. They're going to change out all the locks on every single door, and we're all going to be using this phone app moving forward. Also come to realize, right around the time that they put in this new lock system, they also started a new fee attached to our rent, which is called the Technology Connect fee. And the way they originally talked about it was, we're going to start offering internet as well, so that you don't have to go with any third-party internet providers, but that's totally optional if you want to opt in. A lot of us don't opt in. We use some of the more reliable providers that are around. But that technology fee still exists for everybody every single month. Because that technology fee pays for the app to unlock the door. That technology fee is $85 a month.
Wait, what?
We all pay a subscription of $85 a month to unlock doors.
That's rough.
$85 a month, almost $100 a month, not to live here, not for your rent, just to get in the door. Because the apartment complex, without a vote from its residents, without anything, the property managers decided this is what we're doing now, and we're gonna charge you for it. But it'll be great because it's tech, it's high quality, blah, 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 blah. It's better than the fob system. Meanwhile, the residents hate it. We don't like it. It's not reliable. It's a pain in the ass. And we pay almost $100 a month just to unlock our doors.
Will you continue
to get into the homes that we reside in? This is capitalism in a nutshell. We're going to create a problem. We're then going to solve said problem that we created, and then we're going to charge you for the solution. And when we talk about how people are struggling to just survive, let alone thrive, it's because of this kind of It's because we have moved to this place where we own nothing. Everything is subscription based. Even being able to get into your front door is on a subscription that if you don't pay, you don't even get into your own.
I'm assuming this lady lives in an apartment complex, because if you were in, I guess, a community or something and you owned your home, I'm assuming you wouldn't have someone else just casually coming by and announcing that, hey, we're going to change out the locks on your front door. You're using an app now. But this sounds to me like some apartment complex just taking a page out of the federal government's handbook. Create a problem, create the solution. So you the solution, act like the hero. But if I was this lady, I'd be fighting against this. Was this $85 a month mentioned in your lease whenever you signed it? Because there has to be a way out of this. Other people cannot just make the decision that you're going to sign up for a subscription service that you want nothing to do with. It sounds to me like they're charging you so that they'll have the convenience of accessing your home without having to go get the keys. But we all know how this stuff goes. The moment these other apartment complexes start hearing that this is an option, a way for them to squeeze a few more pennies out of somebody, in real short order, this will become common practice. The level of greed that we're seeing from these businesses nowadays is absolutely astonishing.
So the Pentagon has finally told Canada, hey, enough is enough. You guys are like a danger to yourself, and now they're becoming a danger to the United States. So the Pentagon has pretty much kicked Canada out of the Joint Defense Program that we've had going since like the 1940s. And I don't blame the United States. And I know a bunch of elbows up losers and pro-Canadians are going to come at me, but let me just kind of draw this out for you. Canada no longer cares about its own citizens. They basically tell you to help robbers out. They allow robbers to come in, rob and you, and then sue you if you don't go along with it. They're telling you to leave the keys outside of your car. Oh, and did you know this? Canadians now traveling abroad have to actually be careful, especially if you're flying out of the Toronto Pearson Airport, because the people that work at CATSA, which is like the airport people, are basically like switching your luggage with drugs so that you get in trouble when you land on the other side in whichever country. If you don't believe me, just read this. Chris Ryan, which I'm guessing is an RCMP officer by his uniform, stated, Canadian travelers, your life is at risk. Innocent Canadians are landing abroad and getting arrested for drug smuggling because airport insiders at Toronto Pearson are switching their luggage tags onto suitcases full of City TV W5 exclusive, at least 17 victims in 1 year. Destinations include countries where drug smuggling can mean the death penalty. This is the tip of the iceberg. How is this happening inside our airports? Could it have anything to do with the airport being staffed by majority foreigners? Yes, it does. Arrests of baggage handlers aren't enough. First the gold heist, now this. Security must be fixed now. Which then, when you read the following, next thing will make sense. Basically, the Trump administration officially paused its participation in historic permanent joint board on defense with Canada. The Pentagon stated that the pause is to reassess the forum's value, accusing Canada of failing to make credible progress on its defense spending commitments. But that's not actually it. If you go down here, it basically says that the gap in Canada between rhetoric and reality is just beyond anything. And I think we can see that as Canadian citizens who are awake. I'm not talking about the chicken elbows up idiots. Now, if you think that's bad, there's a bill that Canada is trying to pass called Bill C-22, to the point where Meta, Signal, and all of these big tech giants in the United States who are known for curtailing people's privacy are literally looking at the Canadian government and wondering what the F is wrong with them. And they're not even going to go as far as the Canadian government wants them to break backdoor rules to basically get into any of your chats, socials, or anything like that if you're Canadian without you knowing it. They don't really need a search warrant or any reasonable doubt. It's just a law put in place that they can violate your privacy. Let me just show you that too. Pause to read. Pause to read.
The only reason I see any significance to this story is I think it's just another step in the direction of the American Technate, of the entire North American continent plus Greenland becoming one entity, so to speak. I don't know that that's the direction we're headed in, but I do know that's the direction they want to take us in. And starting to separate yourself from old agreements with a country would make a lot of sense if you're planning to make a move like that in the near future. So I think this may be a sign that those plans are about to start moving forward. But I'm still not convinced one way or the other yet on if we're going to attempt to just take Canada by military force or if they're going to come to some agreement with us and decide to join us. But in whatever way it happens, I do think it's coming. But guys and gals, that's the end of our clips today. Before I run off, I do want to explain my absence over the last half week. I do not know what illness I had, but I have never been so sick in my entire life. I laid awake all night trying to go to sleep, and I was in so much pain my fingernails were hurting. But I will say, having several days back to back like that where I didn't work on anything has really messed me up. Feels like I haven't made a video in months. I'm sitting down trying to work on things and I'm forgetting stuff. I'm having difficulty remembering the structure of how I build my timelines. So hopefully whenever I'm finished with this video, it's not complete garbage. But all that being said, I do intend to post tomorrow as well, and I hope that nothing intervenes and I'm able to post Monday through Friday next week and get back onto that Monday through Friday schedule. I definitely intend to get back to that 5-day-a-week schedule. Unfortunately, sometimes life intervenes and there's nothing you can do about it. But God willing, I will get back to a 5-day-a-week schedule. And I do plan to try to release a video tomorrow, so make sure to come back and check that out. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.